If you don't feel free, you feel you're just surviving, you don't have the true knowledge. Let's give you guys an example. I really want to break something down with you because I think most of you haven't actually thought about this and really broke it down. Now, we all know the average income at the moment is sitting somewhere around 70,000. Let me be generous. Let me call it 75,000. Looking at the room, a lot of you are executive managers in places where you work. So let's assume, just for calculation's sake, let's assume on average, most of the people sitting in this room today, and those of you online, in a management role, you're earning somewhere around 150,000 per annum. $150,000 per annum. I would like to think your taxes that you're going to be paying will be somewhere around the 37 cents to the dollar. So let's just assume that you're paying, Medicare levy and all that stuff. It's minus 40,000 per year, right? So which means you're left with a net income of 110K. Now, you've worked extremely diligently for 30 years. Do you understand over a 30-year period, if we were to times 110,000, that works out to be $3.3 million net income over a 30-year period. Now, I'm not even going to talk about the taxes that you get taxed upon, the tax that you've already paid tax upon, that you go to the supermarket, you still end up paying tax on that net amount that you've got here that still gets taxed on it. Now, think about this. Over a 30 years, that's all you earn. I do understand that wages will go up, so does tax go up and expense goes up. But just for calculation's sake, let's assume over that 30-year period, you receive a net income of $3.3 million. Do you guys understand a successful business that could be generating you $1 million per year? Well, let's just even call it 500,000. That's after tax I'm talking about. Because when we start talking about taxes, right? In the world of business, there is so much deductions that you can apply. In the world of PAYG, you're quite limited in terms of what you can deduct. So for example, as a PAYG income earner, your tax are taken out. That 40,000 is taken out before you get paid. As self-employed or employee or employer, you get to determine how much you give to the taxman. If my overall gross sales is $3 million for the year, I could have car expense, travel, accommodation, fuel, car maintenance, and the list just goes on. Business rent, whatever. The list just goes on. After all expenses, I could have a net profit after tax of $1 million. That net profit after tax of $1 million, now depending on how that business is structured, that business could basically be owned by another trust company. But without us going too deep into it, the bottom line is, over this segment as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you've got way more flexibility to determine the outcome of what you pay. But even if, let's assume you're paying $1 million in taxes, that's fine. But the point I'm trying to get out here is, even if your net amount is $1 million, and let's assume you paid $200,000 in taxes, the point I'm trying to get out here is you're still left with a net profit of $800,000, which is almost close to $1 million of what you would have earned over a 30-year period if you were under this. The point is, you can fast track this earning, shorten that. I don't want to call it 3 years. You could potentially earn this within 3 years. Just to give you guys an idea, I've got clients that their property portfolios are going up by $1 million per annum based on the overall property portfolio. Going up by $1 million per annum. Most of you here do own properties, so you can understand what I mean by that. So within 3 years, if this is what you're only relying on, they've already surpassed you. Now that's the power when you apply knowledge. Now, Speaking of knowledge, I came across this verse, which was John 8:32. Knowledge of the truth shall set you free. I use the word knowledge, but in the verses, the truth shall set you free. That's what people know it for. Understand, if you don't feel free, you feel you're just surviving, you don't have the true knowledge that you need to be free. The knowledge you have might not be the truth.